So I just finished the first 3 episodes of the currently airing Kowloon Generic Romance, a title somehow both fitting and incredibly ironic. Now, first things first, I'm gonna try not to spoil too much right off the bat, and gonna try not to really answer any questions too clearly, increasing the reveals throughout each section of the video, but it's difficult to talk about without talking about the mystery itself, and it's difficult not to want to talk about it. So let me first say that you should just go ahead and go in blind, go watch at least the first episode, or not. That's between you and Jesus. Anyway, Kowloon Generic Romance is a new sci-fi romance mystery drama based on a manga by author Jun Mayuzuki, who also worked on After the Rain. The anime has a bit of a 90s, early 2000s retro vibe, and art style perfectly befitting of its nostalgic themes and its sort of hyper-traditional little town frozen in time. The premise and concepts probably remind me of Steins Gate, Summertime Rendering, and maybe even Hibine Rinmei more than anything else so far. Now, that Steins Gate comparison is very high praise for me.
That's high praise!
And I don't know whether or not it'll maintain that feeling over the long run, but so far, that's definitely the most apt comparison I'm feeling, the vibe that I'm picking up. And let me just say that I'm super intrigued. So just a couple of bullet points first. A dystopian-esque setting with mysterious sci-fi concepts, themes of nostalgia, romance, and the generic versus the unique or the original. An adult cast with an adult romance. A really nice aesthetic with wonderfully detailed backgrounds full of fluid motion, which interacts with the subjects with subtle but whimsy-inducing compositing effects. Lots of interesting direction choices. There's almost no obvious 3D, with what is there being fairly non-intrusive and just easy to miss on your first viewing. An excellent soundtrack with moody ambience that always helps set the tone from feelings of heartfelt romance one minute to haunting surreal melancholy the next. Also, like, just enough fan service. Like, I've got no problems with fan service whatsoever personally, and if you detest it at a baseline, you probably will be put off by just how detailed much of it is. But for me, this show really strikes that chef's kiss balance of having incredible sex appeal and really clever framing of the enticing shots, but also plenty of restraint as well in the other majority of the scenes where fan service isn't really present at all. Also, an incredibly handsome male lead, dressed to impress to balance it all out with taste. Just, once again, an unironically adult show that handles sexuality with enticement but also a lot of maturity. In short, it all passes the vibe check as if it were easy. This show is so damn good so far. I literally can't believe I get to experience this just after finishing Orb on the Movements of the Earth. I don't care what anyone says, for all the problems that the industry has, it is still a great time to be a fan of anime. But anyway, that's a rant for another day, and a rant that is coming. The series takes place in a small, quaint, shanty, and mysterious little town known as Kowloon Walled City, based on a real historical walled city near Hong Kong, which has since been demolished and apparently turned into a park. I don't know much about this, but apparently there is a lot of real history here, which seems really interesting, but anyway. The town rests just outside of a somewhat futuristic modern-day Hong Kong, almost as if frozen in time, with its slummy little alleyways and street vendors, small businesses, homely little restaurants, and the little real estate management office where our primary cast works, managing small, shanty little apartments, which seem to feature little to no air conditioning alongside, quote, photochemical smog warnings and heat and humidity advisories. Surely completely unrelated to the strange giant technological project floating in the sky, but more about that in a moment. The town is known as an escape for those who reject the normalities, the modernisms, and even the conveniences of modern-day Hong Kong society, and wish to reside in a place a bit smaller, a bit simpler, and a bit more nostalgic. Ironically, the escapism of this little town seems to be somewhat blemished by the fact that it perfectly underlooks this mysterious floating technological structure, or setting, known as Generic Terra. Generic Terra is allegedly a tax-paid government project, but is rumored to actually be secretly run by a pharmaceutical company called Hebinuma Pharmaceutical, which only recently just passed management onto the previous CEO's mysterious, enigmatic, and frankly, highly unsettling son. Anyway, upon rewatch of episode 1, I also noticed this TV broadcast quote. It is said that generic Terra is capable of backing up the memories of all human beings, making even eternal youth and immortality a reality. Yeah, that seems a little important, especially considering what I'll be discussing later. But first, characters. Reiko Kujirai is 32 years old, single, and unfortunately for me, not real. She works at Wong Loi Realty Company alongside our other primary character, Hajime Kudo. Reiko loves the city of Kowloon, its people, and its food. Kudo is also incredibly knowledgeable about the city, making it obvious that he deeply loves it as well. Unfortunately, Reiko has no memories of her past and seems constantly beset by strange changes in her physical condition, deja vu-like moments, and problems getting closer to Kudo, who it's obvious she's attracted to. Also, and spoilers for the big episode 1 twist, but there was apparently another version of her here before, and she was engaged to Kudo. What? While Kudo usually seems to know more than he lets on through his usual nonchalant and devil-may-care attitude, he's clearly reluctant to give anything away and occasionally acts spontaneous, arguably unpredictable, and occasionally just flat out rash and a bit merciless in his quips and remarks. Let's put those two aside for now though. Outside of these two, let's just say that we have a variety of colorful characters to say the least. Xiao Hei appears to be Reiko's oldest friend in this town, an eccentric bubbly girl who frequently runs into our two main characters and works multiple part-time jobs to pay for her obsession with fashion. The fact that this girl is presented as being so ineffectual, inconsequential, and of little note honestly makes me all the more suspicious that there's more to her.
I'm watching you.
Xiao Hei.
Always watching.
But maybe that's just what this show does to me with all the theories running wild. Yomei, on the other hand, is Reiko's newest friend, a bright and bubbly but mysterious character who only recently moved to Kowloon and works sewing stuffed animals. She claims that everything from her head to her toe has undergone meticulous surgery, separating her forever from her past identity and connections. And by the way, there is obviously something else going on with this chick. I do not buy that those loud pulsing mechanical sounds were just a normal sewing machine. And I'm pretty sure that she's also the only one with a freaking technological sliding door in this shanty little town. Anyway, I get the feeling this chick's doing way more than sewing up dolls and is gonna end up playing a major role, but that's just me. Anyway, I love this character in case you couldn't tell, and it doesn't hurt that once again, she's gorgeous and the show's just full of that subtle, natural sex appeal. Just enough to make me feel as if I'm actually being catered to on some level. You'll love to see it. There's also the once again enigmatic and unpredictable Miyuki Hebinuma, president of Hebinuma Pharmaceuticals. He sports a split tongue and Yakuza-like snake tattoos, which are typically covered by a white suit. This dude is indeed shady, just as Kudo claims. He is not what he seems, and he is fascinated with the existence of Reiko and the mysteries of Kowloon. Also, he probably belongs on a couple of lists, if you know what I'm saying. But they're all really fascinating characters, especially this guy. Anyway, the series thus far seems to play with the themes or ideas of nostalgia, romance, and what makes something generic versus original or unique. The idea of places and communities that never change. There's also a ton of symbolism at play throughout. Goldfish for poor memory, sunflowers as a symbol for eyes only for you, the fortune symbols scattered all around town, and Reiko's room number 8, which is considered the luckiest number in Chinese culture and could also potentially double as an infinity symbol, maybe? But yeah, fortune and luck, obviously related. If you watch the episode, you'll see more about that, and some other stuff that I'll just not touch on. So obviously this is a bit of a sci-fi mystery, and the biggest question is, who is Reiko Kujirai? And why doesn't she have any memory of her past? Did she simply lose her memories? Why did Kujirai's vision suddenly become perfect? Is this due to her using the suspicious Big Pharma eye drops? Or did she somehow simply wake up in a new body without that defect? Is she a clone or some kind of bioorganism created by Big Pharma? Is this like a simulation event where generic Terra is actually already in play, recreating scenarios with one or more of their memories? If so, is there a main player within the simulation? Is there some other unforeseen solution to this larger question about Reiko? Are there more like her? Might Kudo be in a similar situation as Reiko Kujurai? Are Kudo's memories actually fully intact, or might he also be experiencing some lapse or gaps in memories? I keep wondering if there are some lines being blurred between the flashback sequences, this silhouette imagery around Kujirai, and the sudden flashes to alternate derelict versions of locations that she visits. Are the perspectives here really as clear-cut as they first appear? I'm not totally convinced one way or another, and maybe I'm off my rocker to think they might do something that confusing, but the show just lets you run wild with theories, and I usually don't do that. I usually don't really care about mystery shows that much, but it seems really intentional here, including how many of these ideas seem kind of self-awarely reflected in the opening visuals. It's just super fun and kind of effortless to speculate and theorize with the show for some reason. It feels like the show is encouraging you to do so in a really fun way.
You're just asking questions and you're satisfied the entire way.
But anyway, just a couple of more questions that I'm wondering as I watch so far. Could all of the characters in this town be copies? What's up with the mysterious disappearances? Or the insinuation that the population of the town never changes? And what does all of this have to do with this strange nostalgic town, caught frozen in the past, overlooked by the strange structure known as generic Terra? Is this all somehow related to the years of supposedly ongoing plans to demolish the town? Could there be time loop shenanigans at play? Are these all just the memories of one or more of our main characters being played out? Who freaking knows, man? There are so many possibilities. Just color me super intrigued to watch, speculate, and slowly figure out. Anyway, if you're looking for something more like an episode-by-episode, play-by-play breakdown of this anime, Otaku Spirit has already been doing a wonderful job of that, yapping 30 minutes at a time for each episode. It's a really fun show to speculate alongside, so I would encourage everyone to just start watching the show immediately and check out his content if that's something that you're into. But anyway, I might check back in on this one with another video later, but for now I've got a few other new and old shows that I'd like to talk about, such as the psychological Lovecraftian nightmare that is, please put them on Takumine-san. Look forward to it.
Please be excited for
Eternal Virgin Road